Have you ever glanced at a penny, shrugged, and tossed it aside? What if that penny was worth $9.99,000? What if one quiet morning, while sifting through a jar of loose change, you passed up the very coin that could have changed your life forever? You see, there's a particular 1964 penny, stamped with a tiny D, the Denver Mint mark, that looks like every other copper coin. Ordinary. Forgettable. But hidden among millions is a version so rare, so desirable, that collectors would do almost anything to get their hands on it. Why? What makes this humble cent so valuable, and more importantly, how do you know if you have it? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to uncover one of the biggest hidden jackpots in American pocket change history. But I must warn you, thousands of people have thrown this coin away without realizing its true worth. Don't be the next, because this is not just a penny, that it's a test of attention, and it might be your last chance to cash in before the world catches on. Let's go back to 1964. America was in the middle of a coin crisis. Silver was disappearing from dimes and quarters. And the mint was under pressure to pump out billions of coins to meet demand. In the middle of this chaos, the Lincoln penny, a staple of U.S. currency since 1909, continued to be struck by the millions, but something strange happened in Denver. That year, the Denver Mint was authorized to produce a massive number of Lincoln pennies. Most were normal. But among them, a handful left the facility carrying a secret, a rare minting anomaly or doubling error so subtle, so unintentional, that even mint workers may not have noticed. One such coin, the 1964 D double die obverse, is still being hunted today. And when one surfaced at auction, collectors went wild. The hammer price, $9.99,000. Now think about that for a second. A 1-cent coin, nearly $1 million. Not because of gold, or silver, or anything flashy, but because of a rare misstep in a chaotic year. But here's what makes this more emotional than exciting: many people had this coin in their hands. Some might have tossed it into a vending machine. Others handed it over without a thought. The opportunity slipped right through their fingers, and some of them, believe it or not, were coin dealers who just weren't paying attention. Let that sink in. The difference between a penny and $9.99,000 is knowledge. Did you know? Some rare 1964 D pennies aren't just doubled, they also have tiny die marks, misplaced mint marks, or die chips that only appear in a few hundred examples. These micro-details are what transform a common coin into a numismatic legend. But here's the twist: because of how many 1964 D pennies were made, over 3 billion, most people assume none are valuable. That assumption is costing them a fortune. Collectors are still digging, searching, offering thousands, even hundreds of thousands, for specific 1964 D varieties. And yet, somewhere, right now, a box in an attic or a childhood coin jar might still hold one that could be yours. So how do you know if you've struck gold, or rather, copper? Here's what to look for: grab any 1964 penny with a D under the date. That stands for Denver Mint. Now, look closely, use a magnifying glass if you must. Examine Lincoln's face and the date. Look for doubling, especially on the "for" or on the letters in the word Liberty. If the edges look split, or the letters appear shadowed, you might be holding a double die, one of the most valuable types. Next, check the mint mark itself. Is it unusually shaped? Tilted? Misplaced? That could be another key. That if you think you found something special, don't clean it, not even a gentle wipe. Cleaning coins can destroy their value instantly. Instead, place it in a soft coin holder or envelope. Then, get it professionally graded, preferably by PCGS or NGC, two of the top coin grading companies in the world. They'll certify it, give it a grade, and determine whether it's the rare variety collectors dream of. Once graded, you can check similar sales on platforms like Heritage Auctions or eBay, but if it's one of the high-end rare ones, you'll likely need a broker or auction house to handle it. And trust me, they'll be lining up. Now here's the truth most people miss. This isn't just about one penny. It's about opportunity. It's about the wealth that slips past most people because they never bother to look closely. You could let this be just another video you watched. Or you could get up, walk to that old drawer, the one where loose change hides, And possibly pull out a piece of history. A legacy coin. A $999,000 treasure, because when it comes to rare coins, timing isn't everything, awareness is. And the next great coin story, it could be yours. So take action now, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Right now, sitting in an old jar, a drawer, or maybe inside your grandfather's coin box, could be the one, a single 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It looks ordinary, common, just a rusty old coin. But what if I told you that this ordinary coin could be hiding an extraordinary secret? How many times have people unknowingly spent rare coins on a candy bar or tossed them into a tip jar, never realizing they were parting with a small fortune? Could that be you? The 1967 no-mint penny is one of those coins that doesn't scream for attention, but behind its plain surface is a story that's shaken collectors, stunned auction houses, and left families either celebrating or regretting forever. Why? Does this coin have no mint mark? Why are collectors secretly hunting it like buried treasure? And how did one of these coins recently surface in a private collection and sell for $994,000? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if you're holding the penny that could change your financial future forever. But first, the mystery begins in the chaos of the late 1960s. It was 1967, America was at a boiling point. The Vietnam War, civil unrest, and a coin shortage were gripping the nation. Yes, a coin shortage. The U.S. Mint was overwhelmed, trying to pump out billions of coins for circulation. To speed up production and calm public panic, they made a bold move. They stopped placing mint marks on coins. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, all mints produced coins that year, but none were allowed to identify themselves. That's why the 1967 Lincoln penny has no mint mark, regardless of where it was made. But here's where the story takes a turn. Among the billions of 1967 pennies struck, most were routine, mass-produced, and virtually worthless today. But not all of them. Some were accidentally struck using leftover dies from special proof sets. Some were struck on experimental planchets, or with errors so rare they never should have made it past quality control. These anomalies are so valuable today because they're incredibly rare, and almost no one knows they exist. And here's the kicker. One such error coin, a 1967 no-mint Lincoln penny with a double die obverse and a crisp strike, sold for $994,000 in a private transaction. That's not a myth. That's a real number, for a real coin, found in an old box of unsorted pocket change. Now imagine this. A man in Ohio kept a mason jar of pennies in his garage for 40 years. One day, on a whim, he decided to take a few of them to a coin shop. The dealer nearly fainted. Among the tarnished cents was a near-perfect 1967 Lincoln penny with a visible double die and razor-sharp features. That single coin became his retirement plan, because it fetched him nearly $1 million. Do you see it now? This isn't about collecting. It's about discovering that it's about finding that one overlooked gem that everyone else missed. Did you know some of these rare 1967 pennies were struck on silver planchets, meant for dimes? Those are even rarer, and if you have one, you're sitting on a jackpot. Most people walk right past wealth like this every day. But you won't, not after what I'm about to show you. Here's how you know if your 1967 penny is the one that could change your life. First, check the date, 1967. No mint mark. That's step 1. Then, examine it under a magnifying glass or take clear photos. Look for doubling in the words, Liberty, or, In God We Trust. If the letters look shadowed or appear slightly doubled, that's a possible double die, and that could mean massive value. Also, weigh it. A normal penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If your 1967 cent is lighter or heavier, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet, a rare and valuable mistake. That if you see anything unusual, don't clean the coin. Don't handle it with your bare hands. Put it in a soft cloth or a coin flip, and reach out to a certified coin grader or auction house like Heritage Auctions or PCGS. The difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth $994,000 is often in the details, and in knowing what to look for. Now here's where this story becomes personal. What if your kids grow up not knowing that a coin hidden in their grandfather's drawer could have paid for their college? what if your family loses out on generational wealth, not because it wasn't there, but because no one took the time to check? This is more than money. It's about legacy. It's about seizing opportunities before they vanish, because coins like these are vanishing. Being melted down, lost, spent, forgotten. And every day, another priceless penny slips through the cracks, never to be seen again, but not yours. You now know what to look for. You know what's possible. And you have the power to turn a penny into something life-changing. So go now, check your old jars, your drawers, your inherited boxes. Look at every 1967 Lincoln penny like it could be the one. Because the next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. What if I told you that a single penny, just one worn-out coin, dated 1969 and marked with a tiny D, could make you rich overnight? No, this isn't a myth. It's not a collector's fantasy or internet rumor. This is real, and people across the country are waking up to the shocking truth hidden in their old jars of spare change. But here's the catch: millions of people have owned this coin. Most spent it, tossed it, ignored it. Only a few knew the secret. Only a handful cashed in, and when they did, the numbers weren't small. One of these seemingly ordinary pennies sold for a staggering $990,000. That's almost $1 million. From one coin that someone could have used to pay for a piece of gum. Could you have one? Could your next fortune be lying in your junk drawer, inside an old coat pocket, or tucked away in a forgotten piggy bank? There's a reason collectors call this penny the quiet millionaire maker. And once you learn why, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. Stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal how to tell if your 1969 D penny is the rare variety, and the clues are so specific, most people miss them. But if you catch them, this could be your turning point. To understand this coin's insane value, we need to go back, way back, to a time when the United States Mint was under pressure. In 1969, inflation was rising, coin production was booming, and mistakes were being made. That year, the Denver Mint was tasked with producing hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. The process was fast, mechanical, relentless. And in the chaos, something extraordinary happened. Among those billions of standard copper pennies, a rare error was born, the 1969 D double die obverse. Now here's where the mystery deepens. Unlike other famous coins, this one doesn't flaunt its rarity. The D mint mark suggests it's from Denver, nothing special there. But the truth lies in the details. Look closely, if you're lucky enough to find one, and you'll notice something chilling. Abraham Lincoln's profile looks normal, until you inspect the lettering. Liberty, doubled. In God we trust, doubled. The date, 1969, unmistakably doubled, but not all 1969 D pennies have this. That's what makes it so elusive. So many were struck correctly, but a few were born flawed in the most profitable way possible. Here's the emotional part, the part that keeps collectors up at night. There was once a man in Arizona who found one in a small coin collection passed down from his grandfather. He almost gave the coins away for face value, but something about the 1969 caught his eye. After checking with an expert, his life changed forever. That coin sold for $990,000. Now imagine all the people who didn't take a second look. The ones who had this penny and used it to pay for coffee. The ones who sold their jars of coins to machines for quick cash, and unknowingly gave away a fortune. It's not just a coin. It's a reminder of how opportunity can sit quietly in plain sight, until someone finally sees it. And here's something even seasoned collectors don't know. Many people confuse the 1969 D penny with another rare coin, the 1969 no mint mark double die, which came from Philadelphia. While both are valuable, the 1969 D is even harder to authenticate because fewer confirmed double dies have surfaced from the Denver Mint. And that rarity? It drives the price through the roof. Did you know some uncirculated 1969 D pennies without doubling still sell for hundreds if the condition is pristine? Now imagine the price tag when all the conditions line up, the D mint mark, the doubling, and the near-perfect grade. That's when collectors start bidding like sharks in the water. So now the question is, how do you know if your 1969 D penny is the one? Here's what you need to do today. First, find your 1969 D Lincoln cents. Look through your drawers, your coin jars, your old piggy banks. If you've ever collected pennies or inherited coins from a loved one, this is the moment to check. Under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, examine the words, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1969. You're not looking for minor shadows or wear, you're looking for bold, clear doubling. The letters should look as though they were stamped twice. That if you see even a hint of doubling, stop. Don't clean the coin. Don't try to fix it. Preserve it exactly as it is and take it to a professional coin grader or a reputable numismatic dealer, and remember, condition is key. Coins in uncirculated condition with visible doubling are worth far more than those that are damaged or worn. That's why storing your coins safely, in dry, protective sleeves or holders, can be the difference between a $10 find and a six-figure treasure. Want to know the real market value? Check recent auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. You'll see this very coin, 1969 D, double die, fetching prices that make people's jaws drop. Because collectors know how rare this one is. And they're willing to pay dearly for it, but the clock is ticking. More of these coins are being discovered each year. As supply increases, the market could shift. The longer you wait, the greater the chance that your secret fortune becomes just another penny. You have a choice right now. You can ignore this, assume it's just hype, and move on, or you can act. Look. Search. Investigate, because the truth is, wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers, and in the case of the 1969 D penny, it whispers from the bottom of an old coin jar. Don't let this story end in regret. Don't be the person who almost checked. Be the one who found it. But there's a 1976 Lincoln penny, with a tiny little D mint mark, that has collectors across America scrambling to check their change jars, their old drawers, even those dusty coffee cans passed down from their grandparents. Why? Because one rare variation of this coin has quietly become a goldmine for the lucky few who recognize it, and here's the chilling part. Most people spend it without even knowing what they had. So ask yourself, have you ever seen a 1976 penny with a D below the date? Do you know what makes one version of that coin nearly worthless, and another worth almost $1 million? Could you be sitting on a fortune right now, and not even realize it? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we'll uncover a story filled with mystery, forgotten treasures, missed fortunes, and the one clue that separates an ordinary penny from one that could change your life. But don't blink. Because the secret you need to spot is so small, so easily overlooked, most people never notice it, until it's too late. To understand why this 1976 D penny is so valuable, we need to go back to the heart of America's bicentennial celebration. 1976 was a year bursting with patriotic pride. Bells were ringing, flags were waving, and America was commemorating 200 years of independence. Special designs were released for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. But curiously, the humble Lincoln penny remained unchanged. No flashy redesign. No special markings. Just the same Lincoln profile we'd seen for decades, except, at the Denver Mint, something unexpected happened. Amidst millions of perfectly ordinary copper pennies struck that year, a few slipped through the cracks. Pennies that bore a subtle but critical error. Coins with misaligned dies, double strikes, or slight off-center features that created anomalies so rare, they now fetch jaw-dropping prices at auction. One particular 1976 D Lincoln penny, for example, was discovered with a dramatic double die obverse, a doubling effect on the lettering and date so crisp, even a beginner could spot it with a magnifier, and that coin. It didn't sell for a few $100s. It sold $4,988,000. Yes, almost $1 million, for one penny. A coin that most people wouldn't think twice about tossing into a tip jar. Now imagine the heartbreak of someone who spent that same coin years ago, unaware of the life-changing sum they'd given away. It's not just money lost. It's a dream lost, because here's the emotional truth, this isn't just about coins. This is about legacy. About recognizing the hidden value in the things we've overlooked. The drawer full of junk change your father kept. The coin album your grandfather used to flip through on quiet evenings. That's not just history. That could be wealth, disguised as memory, and here's something else they don't tell you, not every 1976 D penny is rare. Most are common. But the few that were struck under specific conditions, with die varieties or minting anomalies, they're out there. Waiting to be discovered. Hiding in plain sight. Did you know some of these rare pennies have small die cracks that create unusual raised lines on Lincoln's portrait? Or that others show strong doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," and here's the twist, most collectors don't even look at 1976 pennies because the spotlight is always on bicentennial quarters. That's what makes this opportunity even more powerful. The fewer people who know, the better your odds of finding one. Because when everyone is chasing the same coin, it's already too late. So now, the question is, how do you find this hidden treasure? First, dig into your old change jars, drawers, and piggy banks. Look for 1976 pennies with a small D beneath the date. That tells you it was minted in Denver. Next, get a 10x magnifier. Examine the date and lettering closely. Look for doubling, especially on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Check for raised lines, cracks, or misalignments. These tiny details could mean huge value. If you find anything unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning damages its surface and can erase thousands of dollars in value. Instead, put it in a soft plastic holder and get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. These services will authenticate and grade the coin, which is essential if you want to sell it for top dollar. And where can you sell it? Start with trusted coin dealers, major auctions, or even submit it to high-profile online auctions that specialize in rare US coins. But here's the emotional truth I want to leave you with: too many people spend their lives chasing wealth, looking for a breakthrough, never realizing they might be holding it already. Coins like the 1976 D penny aren't just metal. They're missed opportunities, or discovered miracles. They remind us that sometimes, fortune hides where we least expect it. So tonight, when you're home, open that drawer. Check your stash. Take a closer look at what's been sitting under your nose for years, because that next great discovery, the one that could rewrite your future, it might be a single penny, resting quietly in your pocket, right now. Don't let it slip away. Right now, across the United States, people are unknowingly spending or giving away coins that could sell for more than $985,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single penny. But here's the twist: not all 1979 D pennies are valuable. Only a rare few. And they hide in plain sight. The real question is, do you have it? And even more importantly, would you know if you did? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to uncover the truth behind the 1979 D Lincoln penny. By the end of this video, you'll know how to identify the right one, how to avoid the costly mistake of tossing it away, and how some smart collectors have turned these hidden coins into wealth that changed their lives forever. But first, what makes this tiny copper coin so special? Let's dive deep. The 1979 Lincoln penny marked the end of a quiet era and the beginning of a hidden opportunity. Struck at the Denver Mint, the 1979 D penny was never meant to be rare. Billions were made. But hidden among them, a few anomalies slipped through. These weren't accidents. They were the result of fast-paced production, worn-out dies, and overlooked errors that today make collectors' hearts race. Now imagine this: a retired factory worker in Kansas stumbles upon an old coin jar while cleaning out his garage. Among the pennies, he spots a 1979 D that looks different. He doesn't know why, but something feels off. He sends it for grading, and weeks later, that same coin sells for $985,000 at a private auction. A penny he almost gave away. Why? Because this particular 1979 D Lincoln penny had a rare die error. A strong double die reverse, where the Lincoln Memorial shows deep, visible doubling under magnification. Others had misaligned mint marks, broad strikes, or a sharp, rare, transitional planchet error, where the coin was struck on leftover copper planchets instead of the zinc ones introduced in the early 1980s. Did you know, some rare 1979 D pennies were struck on experimental planchets not meant for circulation, making them one-of-a-kind coins? But here's where it gets more emotional. Thousands of Americans during the 80s and 90s were cashing in jars of pennies, unknowingly surrendering rare coins to machines, coin stars, and banks. Wealth slipped quietly from their hands. A lifetime of forgotten opportunity in a single clink of metal. How many of us still have coins from our childhood? From our parents? Our grandparents? You see, these rare pennies aren't just metal. They're legacy. They're missed chances. And today, they're making comebacks in the hands of those smart enough to look. Collectors aren't just people in dusty basements anymore. Today, they're millionaires, they're historians, they're treasure hunters who know where to look. So, how do you know if you have the one? First, check the date. 1979, then look just under it for a small D, the mint mark for Denver. Now, inspect carefully. Use a magnifier. Look for any signs of doubling on the Lincoln Memorial, especially the pillars and the lettering. Even a slight distortion could signal something rare. Check for clean edges, off-centering, or any unusual texture that stands out from other coins, and weight matters. If it feels heavier than your modern pennies, you might be holding an early copper planchet, a rare transitional error worth thousands on its own. If you think you've got something, don't clean it. Don't touch it with bare hands. Place it gently in a soft cloth or coin holder, and get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These companies can verify its authenticity and give it the official stamp of value that buyers demand. Want to know where to check its worth? Head to heritage auctions, great collections, or eBay's sold listings. But don't sell it in a rush. A verified rare 1979 D penny could attract serious collectors with deep pockets, sometimes in private sales worth far more than public ones. This isn't just about a coin. It's about a second chance. A hidden treasure buried in a box, a drawer, or a forgotten coffee can. This is about reclaiming lost value, about honoring the past, and about securing your future. And if you're still thinking, I'll check tomorrow, let me ask you this: what if someone else finds it first? What if the penny that could pay off your debt, your mortgage, or even fund your retirement, is sitting quietly in your house right now, waiting? This is your moment to act, because the truth is, rare pennies don't look rare. They look ordinary. Until someone with knowledge and courage uncovers their worth. So look again. Open that old box. Recheck that dusty jar. And remember, your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. It might be sitting right now in your coin jar, your pocket change, or buried in an old dresser you haven't opened in years. You'd never expect it, because it doesn't look flashy, it doesn't shine like gold, and it carries no special markings at first glance. But it could be worth up to $980,000. The mystery? It's a 1982 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark. Now here's the twist: most people who find this coin have no idea what they're holding. They spend it. They toss it in a change bowl. And just like that, they throw away a fortune. So here's the question: do you have it? And more importantly, would you even know if you did? Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you how to unlock the truth behind this coin, the silent reasons it's so valuable, and how to identify the real 1982 no mint mark penny that has sent collectors into a frenzy. But first, you need to know the secret that makes this penny worth nearly $1 million, and once you hear it, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Let's rewind the clock to 1982, a year of quiet chaos for the United States Mint. That year, something changed. For the first time in decades, the penny underwent a major transformation. Due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a fateful decision: switch the composition of the penny from 95% copper to a cheaper copper-plated zinc. But it wasn't an overnight switch. The transition happened mid-year, and during this short window, 8 different varieties of 1982 pennies were created: copper and zinc, large date and small date, Philadelphia Mint and Denver Mint. And hidden within this complicated mix is the rarest of them all, the 1982 D small date made from copper, a coin that shouldn't even exist. But that's not the only mystery. Point one coin in particular, a 1982 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, has drawn legendary attention for another reason. It's from the Philadelphia Mint, which typically didn't use mint marks on pennies. So at first glance, you'd think it's just another common coin, but here's the catch: only a tiny handful were made using the wrong metal, while most no-mint mark pennies that year were struck on the new zinc planchets, a few were mistakenly struck on copper, making them incredibly rare, and one day, a sharp-eyed collector spotted one of these copper no-mint mark 1982 pennies, and sent it in for testing. When the results came back, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world that it was copper. It had no mint mark. And it was a small date, that combination. Almost mythical, collectors estimate fewer than a dozen may exist. And because of their scarcity, mystery, and sheer historical importance, one example reportedly fetched up to $980,000 in a private sale. Now imagine the heartbreak of the person who once had that coin in their pocket. Who spent it without knowing? Who missed their chance? How many others have come and gone? How many are still waiting to be found, maybe in your possession? Did you know that tens of thousands of 1982 pennies are still floating around in circulation, waiting to be weighed, examined, and identified? Most will be worth just 1 cent, but the right one could rewrite your future. So how do you know if you've got it? First, grab a 1982 penny with no mint mark. That's the starting point. Next, check the date style. Look closely. 1982 pennies were made with both large date and small date varieties. The small date has a more delicate, tighter font, especially on the 2. It curves inward gently and sits more level with the rest of the numbers. Now here comes the critical part: weigh it. Use a precise digital scale that can measure in grams. A genuine copper penny from 1982 will weigh 3.11 grams. A zinc one, just 2.5 grams. If your 1982 penny with no mint mark has a small date and weighs 3.11 grams, you may be holding one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. Before doing anything else, do not clean it. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Place it in a soft coin flip or plastic holder. Keep it protected, then, contact a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate, grade, and help you determine its true market value. You can also explore recent listings and completed sales on auction sites like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections to compare, but don't delay. The longer these coins stay hidden, the fewer chances you have to cash in on this rare opportunity. And here's the deeper truth: this isn't just about money. It's about legacy. About seizing a moment that most people miss. About passing something of value, of history, of rarity, to your family, your children, your grandchildren, because sometimes, the key to a better future doesn't look flashy. It looks like a penny. A small, silent piece of metal with a forgotten past, and an unimaginable worth. So go ahead. Check your drawers. Open those jars. Revisit your childhood coin stash. The chance you've been waiting for might already be in your hands. Don't let it slip away. They told you pennies were worthless, but what if they lied? What if, right now, buried in your old change jar, there's a single penny, seemingly ordinary, totally overlooked, that could be worth up to $976,000? This isn't just another coin video. Because the 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is hiding a story so shocking, so quietly profitable, that collectors have spent decades chasing it. And people just like you have accidentally cashed in big, without even knowing what they had. Here's the question you should be asking yourself: do you truly know what's sitting inside your drawer, under your car seat, or in that forgotten coffee can in the garage? Have you already passed by the rarest coin of your lifetime, without even recognizing it? And here's the kicker: this coin looks just like every other penny you've seen. Same face. Same date. Same size. But one tiny, nearly invisible detail changes everything. If you find this one variation, your entire financial picture could shift overnight. So why is this 1984 penny making millionaires out of people who never even considered themselves collectors? You're about to find out, but be warned, by the time you learn the truth, you may never look at pennies the same way again. The year was 1984. Ronald Reagan was president. America was on the edge of massive economic change. But at the U.S. Mint, something else, something quieter, was happening. The Philadelphia Mint, known for striking coins without any visible mint mark, accidentally released a batch of 1984 Lincoln cents with a very specific die error. It wasn't the missing mint mark alone that made it rare, that was normal for Philadelphia coins. No. The real secret was something far more elusive: a doubling on Abraham Lincoln's face, a doubling that only showed up under certain light, with certain angles. A flaw in the minting process, a slight misalignment, created a coin that looks like every other penny, until you see the doubling in his ear. That's right. The 1984, double-ear, Lincoln penny.an error so subtle it slipped past quality control, yet so valuable that today it's considered one of the holy grails of modern era coins. Collectors whisper about it. Dealers hunt for it. Most people never find it, but every so often, someone does. One man in Indiana found one in his father's old tackle box. He sent it in to be graded. It came back authentic and pristine. He sold it for a jaw-dropping $976,000. Let that sink in. A penny, found in an old box, that sold for nearly $1 million, and here's the gut punch. Many of these rare 1984 no-mint mark pennies with the doubled ear error were likely spent as normal change, never to be recovered. Imagine selling a soda for $1 million coin. That's not a joke. That's a real regret someone out there is probably living with right now, but not you. Because you're here. You're listening. And you're about to learn how to spot it before it slips through your fingers. Did you know, less than 1 in 10,000 1984 Lincoln cents show this doubling clearly enough to be valuable. Most people tossed them without ever realizing what they had. But a trained eye sees the gold and the rust. Here's something else most people don't know: the vast majority of valuable specimens are uncirculated, found in old rolls or forgotten stashes. And some of the finest examples ever graded were never in a collector's album. They were buried in junk drawers, forgotten until fate intervened. Right now, people all over the country are scouring their homes, searching old jars, dumping out piggy banks. Because they've seen the evidence. This coin is real. This opportunity is real, and if you act now, if you learn what to look for, you could be the next name added to that short, elite list of lucky finders. First, look at the date, 1984. No mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia, and that's perfectly fine. That alone isn't rare. The key lies in Lincoln's ear. With a magnifying glass, or better yet, a coin loop, study the profile. If you see a clear second outline around the earlobe, a ghost-like doubling, you could be holding the double ear error. Don't rely on the naked eye. Lighting matters. Turn the coin slowly. Look at it from multiple angles. The doubling appears like a shadow, and once you see it, you'll know. Next, preserve it immediately. Don't clean it. Don't rub it. Place it carefully in a coin flip or holder. The better the condition, the higher the value. Then, get it graded. Use reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC. A certified coin with documentation will always bring far more money at auction or private sale, and check current market prices. Online coin auction houses and numismatic forums often list recent sales. Coins in exceptional condition have sold for up to $976,000. Even well-worn examples have fetched thousands, but here's the emotional truth no one talks about: most people will never find this coin, not because it's not out there, but because they never took the time to look. They let the years pass. They ignored the opportunity sitting in front of them. Don't be one of them. This is more than a coin. It's a chance to rewrite your story. To cash in on forgotten history. To turn a single cent into security, into freedom, into legacy. Maybe it's not about becoming rich overnight. Maybe it's about passing something down to your children that's worth far more than its weight in copper. Maybe it's about finally catching that break you've been waiting for. So before you go to bed tonight, check your change. Open that old box in the closet. Look again at the coins you almost threw away, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now.